Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. If you are watching this live, I am Connie Kircher and I'm doing my weekly little 2 cents to encourage you to give some value and hopefully steer you in the right direction for 2025. So, this live, if you are watching, is all going to be about getting out of your head and onto paper. So if you're watching live, please make sure that you put where you are watching live from. If you've not subscribed to the Elite Entrepreneur Coach, Connie Kircher would love for you to subscribe. I know that about every 3 days, 4 days, I do a video, a live, a Q&A to really support your entrepreneurial better than, you before version and just really develop skill sets in the space of mindset, CEO, entrepreneurial journey, and just overall developing, you, right? Like you are your greatest asset. And so I'm going to dive right into the topic of get out of your head onto paper. If you've ever coached with me, that has been a saying I have instilled in all of my clients and all of my workshops. And here is why, is that there is so much research that shows stop thinking about it because it's not real. Your brain doesn't know always how to process, take action, make concrete a thought. Okay. So, another way to say this is always think through how do I move this from a concept to concrete? So, again, the research shows that only about 80% of what we think about actually goes into action, actually, comes to fruition because it's just a lost thought. It's just a constant kind of, wheel that is happening versus if you get out of your head onto paper in a meaningful strategic way, right? Whether it be for your goal setting, whether it be for a strategic plan, whether it be to pay off debt, whether it be for a fitness goal, there has to be a way that you track and you visually go through the rhythm of writing out that goal, writing out that decision, writing out that plan. So I know that we're pretty much all, electronic anymore. We've got our notes and we've got our Trello boards and we've got our electronic dashboards, but there is so much to be said of getting out of your head and onto paper to make sure that you are following through with the ideas, with the brainstorming, with the concepts you want to see through. And I cannot encourage enough these 3 ways to get out of your head and onto paper. Every single morning, I write out my 5 main goals for my company. I write them out, even though they're printed, even though they're on, my screen, they're on my, screenshot for my phone. I always physically write out so that it hyper focuses me for the day. Okay. So I'm always writing out my macro goals. Second is as always writing out the different shifts throughout the day of what I want to complete personally and what I want to complete professionally. So I'm not thinking about the project I need to do, the proposal I need to do, the person I need to reach out to. I get hyper focused and I put a T chart down every single day of the 5 critical action steps I must complete personally and the 5 critical action steps that I need to complete professionally. Notice my language in that I am not saying goals. I am not saying intentions. I am literally calling them action steps. Okay. And I'm putting a time allotment. And again, that helps your brain to structure. The day feels overwhelming. I've got a lot to do on the website, on the copy, in the kitchen for this workout to prep for the meeting. That's still too arbitrary for your brain to take any action on that. And then you wonder why you shut down, or maybe you get to high avoidance, or again, you serve in the space of, analysis paralysis. It doesn't have to be that way anymore. So get out of your head onto paper and really line out, I love the cadence of 5 critical action steps that I promised to myself to build self-trust that I will complete professionally that day and that I will complete personally that day. Last but not least, of getting out of your head and onto paper is that it gives you ownership if you stop thinking it and you ink it, right? Write that down in the comment section. You've got to stop thinking it and you need to start inking it. Okay. So whatever habit you are trying to build, whatever new identity you are, really wanting to embody and really want to step into, it does take that process of stopping to think about it. There's nothing wrong with that first step, but you have to ink it. So again, I have a lot of clients that, when I talk about, do you see yourself as a CEO? What are the qualities, the characteristics that you want to be known for, the legacy? Well, don't just say those to me. Write those out in your own, leadership, motto or creed for yourself. No one else has to see it. It doesn't have to be public, right? It's something that you're going to start doing for yourself. Another way I always love to say, stop thinking it and inking it, is you have to create a finish line. You have to understand that the deadline that you set for your goal is going to be absorbed until the very last moment of that finish line. There's a theory called Parkinson's management theory. And what was done in this study is that they gave two different groups the same initiative, okay? It was the same amount of resources. It was the same amount of skill sets of the teams. It was the same kind of like, here's the 6 things that need to be completed. But for group A, they give them 30 days to troubleshoot, to figure it out, to try different beta tests, to get more research done, right? To figure out a couple options until then they had to present the final product. Then they gave the team B the same outcome of like, this is what we need to have created, but they cut the time in half. They only gave them 2 weeks of production time, 2 weeks of brainstorming time, 2 weeks of research and development time. And guess what? The team did not feel pressure. Team B did not know that there was, a team A that was taking all of 30 days to complete, and team B took all of 2 weeks to complete. And the same product was produced. The same level of intentionality and excellence and all of that was just shrunk down half of the time. So when you're managing yourself and when, again, you're getting out of your head onto paper, sometimes our brain really wants to expand the scope, the timeline, the amount of time. And all of a sudden, a smaller project, a completion action item that could take you an hour if you sat down, 90 minutes at the max to get it, version 1 done, go back in a couple days, edit it, and finish it up in another 90-day jam session. But I find that most of my clients give themselves way too much of a runway. So when you get into this rhythm of getting out of your head and onto paper, when you want to initially say, how long is that going to take me, Connie? That's going to take me 2 weeks. That's going to take me 90 days. That's going to take, 5 hours. I just want you to practice and go, what if I use Parkinson's management theory to my benefit, right? Not to my demise, not to a pressure point, but to let me see what I can complete in half of the time and get to 75% completion. And most of the time, you'd be amazed that when you move up the deadline, you're able then to take action on that and have more time for the next project to be completed. Okay. Think about this. Whenever you go and you pack for a trip or you get ready to go do some type of travel, isn't it so true that the night before you have 27 things to do before you go to the airport at 4 a.m. and magically all 27 things happen because you have a hard deadline, you have a incentive to complete those pieces, and you don't have flexibility in it, right? It's a perceived hard stop. I guess it's a real hard stop because you need to get on the plane. But use that to your advantage. You know that in your personality. We all have that. We all will push to a deadline and then, eke it out at the very end, that last 10 yards, that last 10 seconds. Well, use that to your advantage. You start managing you. You start getting out of your head onto paper and making those timelines much shorter, much more in a healthy urgency way, much more that you are 6 steps ahead of when you take this concept, this goal, this idea, this partnership, this creation you want to do, this habit you want to create. I'm going to so encourage you that the time is typically so arbitrary that if you butted it up, you created a sense of excitement and urgency and a sooner deadline. I'm going to tell you, you're going to be able to get more things completed and more things out of your head and onto paper. So in the comment section below, and this just quick 10 minutes, want to give you a Facebook Live for this week because it's come up a lot in coaching calls this week of, have you written that down? No. Have you given yourself a deadline? No. Well, then don't expect yourself to get to the finish line because you're confused. If I can't articulate the deadline, the scope that you want this done, how in the heck do you expect your brain to do that? Okay. So go hand in hand with your brain, go hand in hand in moving some concepts to concrete, get out of your head onto paper. And in the comment section, tell me what the greatest takeaway of how you're going to implement that for you. Whether it be, again, it's about your personal habits, whether it be about really building a sound, sustainable, and scalable business practice that you really need to get structure in place and not keep thinking about it or winging it, again, that's a perfect way that you can implement that immediately at no cost, at no heavy lifting. You don't have to outsource anything. It's just a free technique you can start implementing. And or if you're at the macro CEO owning your business level and you're feeling a little bit stuck, I'm always encouraging you to go, okay, take 10 minutes and get out of your head onto paper of what you want to see action steps look like today, for this hour, for this month, by the end of Friday even. It's a wonderful technique that you have in your back pocket now to get out of your head onto paper. Little Connie Kircher is going to be sitting on your shoulder, always tons of energy, always some fun little jewelry, always tons of just, again, want to encourage you and be like the good angel on your side, that if you feel stuck, come back to this training and say, I need to take 15 minutes and get out of my head onto paper. So if you're needing support in more of this mindset work and more skill set development, and how do you do this arbitrary self-leadership piece as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a leader of, again, a community that is following you, just a leader of yourself and your family, I host every single month a free masterclass that is mind over matter. Okay. My next one will be March 17th. That's going to be a wonderful Monday together. It is from 12 to 1 Mountain Standard Time. In the description of this video, I put the registration link so that you can then receive the Zoom. Again, it's completely complimentary. I really dive into 5 mind over matter mindset tips and tricks and best practices, so that in the month of March, midway through the month of March, you can get a little bit of aspiration, a little bit of encouragement, and some concrete examples of how you can keep developing, I would say, the strongest muscle that you have, your brain, your mindset, because if you can't manage you, it becomes nearly impossible to manage others and manage your business and manage the home and manage your health. So I'm on a mission this year to continuously grow, right? Continuously grow followers, clients, individuals that I'm training with, teams that I'm training with, to really start building this, creed within yourself, the self-trust it takes, that you see yourself as someone that can get completion done. You see yourself someone with a strong mindset, even as life be lifing, which happens to us every single day. You are not crumbling under that piece. You are actually elevating your own personal leadership. So in that description, feel free to register for that masterclass. I do cap capacity at that, so make sure that you register sooner than later. And I hope to see you in March on the 17th from 12 to 1 Mountain Standard Time. And again, make sure you like this video, make sure that you have subscribed, and I will see y'all in a couple days for another training video. Bye, y'all.